This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. A knock at the door. Antoinette Cayedito. And I'm sorry if I miss anybody's names of my wife. She makes fun of me all the time because I'm not good at ruling my R's or S's. So, sorry guys.
Comes with the Hispanic territory.
Right. 9-year-old Antoinette was in the 4th grade at Lincoln Elementary School in New Mexico. She lived with her mother, Penny, her 2 sisters, Sadie and Wendy. Her mother was Native American and her father was Italian and Hispanic. Her parents separated when she was younger and her father later remarried. Antoinette, she was described as a level-headed, dependable, and mature for her age. On the eve of April the 5th, 1986, Antoinette's mother, Penny, she went out with a couple of friends and she had a babysitter looking after the girls until midnight. When Penny came home, she let the babysitter go and she actually stayed up and talked with her daughters until 3 a.m. At which point, Penny went to bed with her daughters. Even though they had a 4-bedroom, all her girls stayed in the same bed with her that night.
That's kind of odd.
What?
Staying up until 3 in the morning and sleeping on the same bed.
Yeah. Sometime around 3 a.m., there was a knock at the door. Antoinette and Sadie heard the knock at the door and they went to see who it was. But they didn't recognize the person at the door.
Wait, why are 2 girls going to answer the door at 3 a.m. in the morning?
It says that their mother was still asleep.
Didn't they go to sleep at 3 a.m.?
Yeah, and sometime around 3 a.m. there was a knock at the door.
And they thought it was okay to go see who it was.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, this was in the 80s, so...
It doesn't matter.
It's in the 80s.
A 9-year-old should not be up at 3 a.m.
Well, they was up with their mother.
Regardless,
okay.
They should not be out at 3 a.m.
So they didn't recognize the knock. They didn't recognize who was at the door. So sometime later, someone knocked again, a second time. And Antoinette, she got up and opened the door. Sadie, she stayed in bed and went back to sleep. This was the last time anyone has ever seen Antoinette.
Wow.
Penny was still asleep. She didn't hear the knock at all. And she didn't realize Antoinette was missing until Sunday, April the 6th, around 7 a.m.
So the girls didn't tell their mom that somebody had knocked at 3 a.m.? How is it that the girls heard it and the mom didn't? Unless she was like under the influence.
She was out partying till 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, I be out partying that late, but I don't.
Listen, I couldn't even go to the restroom without waking up my parents and letting them know that I was in the restroom. Because I had this fear that if I didn't tell them and say if a house fire happened and they didn't know where I was, like they were going to freak out.
I used to do that. Like mine was more creepy when I like learned about kidnapping or theft shit. Guys, my mom was just a single mom. So she used to be at work before me. She used to call, make sure I was up, getting ready for school. I used to like call and text my mom like, hey, this is the outfit I am wearing. Just in case I ever go missing, she would know what I was wearing.
You guys grew up watching ID.
Yeah, I was watching ID at like 5. Not ID. Was ID around? Probably was. But I was watching crime shows with my grandmama when she was babysitting me. That's where I got my love for true crime. Thanks, grandmama. Penny, she was asleep at the residence. She didn't hear the knock and didn't realize Antoinette was missing until Sunday, April the 6th at 7 a.m. When she awoke her children for Sunday school, Antoinette's clothes were left behind, but her pink nightgown the day before was missing. Before calling the police, Penny says she searched the neighborhood first. A neighbor report seeing an older model brown truck with New Mexico license plates outside Antoinette's home between 6:30 and 7 a.m. that morning. The neighbor saw a man out of his truck and approached Antoinette's house. She couldn't describe how the man looked or the truck detail. However, the family did not know any friends or relative with that brown truck. At 11 a.m., Miss Penny, she finally contacted the police.
Hold on. So is this a New Mexico thing? Everybody's up at 3 a.m.
I don't know.
The neighbor was up too?
No,
and
she was up at 6 o'clock.
And she saw a brown truck.
She was up at 6:30, 7 a.m. and she saw the brown truck. So she probably like a morning riser, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get kidnapped at 3, I don't think you're going to hang out.
Well, they never said, because the first knock was at around 3, but we don't know what time the second knock was.
Did she write down the license plate?
No, she just said like, oh, she saw a truck and the truck came to her. I feel like she wasn't really watching that well because she just saw the man get out and go to the neighbor house. So she didn't realize, oh, like this person is dangerous.
So they had somebody else knock at 6 a.m.?
That's what the neighbor said she saw.
Okay.
So at 11 a.m., that's when Miss Penny contacted the police.
What time did Penny wake up?
6.
Till 11, she contacted the police?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But the police told her, why did she wait 8 hours before making an official missing report?
Exactly.
So she waited until 11 to contact the police and her father. Both parents said Antoinette, she wouldn't open the door to anyone that she didn't know. Therefore, they believed she opened the door to someone that she knew, since there was no sign of struggle. They also point out that even if Antoinette had opened the inside door, she would have to unlatch the screen door to let anyone inside the house. Police was concerned that Antoinette was a victim of a kidnapping and brought in the FBI and the local field office. So they actually kind of moved kind of quick with this case and other quick cases that we have, talked about.
Correct. And it's somebody that they think that she knows.
Mm-hmm. So a year later, after she went missing, the local police department got a call from a frightened child who claimed to be Antoinette.
Oh, wow.
1 year after her disappearance, the local police got a call from a frightened child saying she was Antoinette. She was said that she was in Albuquerque. They heard a loud, angry male voice in the background screaming, "Who said you could use the phone?"
Oh.
There was a scuffle and a scream heard from the girl, and then the call ended. Since the phone call only lasted 40 seconds, but the police was unable to trace the call.
Yeah.
When the police let Miss Penny heard it, she believed that it was her child's voice. However, she didn't recognize the man's voice in the call. This recording was played on local radio station, but no leads developed. So, several years later, in 1990, a waitress in Carson City, Nevada, reported seeing a teenage girl around 14 years old, the same age as Antoinette will be in 1990. Sitting at a table with two unkept individuals, the girl, she kept dropping her silverware and the waitress kept picking it up. And they kept making eye contact. And the little girl, she kept squeezing the waitress' hand. And then after they left, she wrote a note, "Please help me. Call the police." When the waitress contacted the police, she was shown a couple pictures. And she felt the young girl represented Antoinette.
Wow.
To this date, they never was confirmed that it was her at the restaurant.
So they didn't have any cameras, or she didn't take note of what they were driving?
You just want people like, do your job.
Exactly.
You do your job. Basically, if you see something weird or creepy, report it.
Exactly. Take down as much information as you can.
And that's the whole thing I tell you. I was like, when you went to Mexico and I couldn't go with you, I was like, look at your surroundings. Watch out. Look at this. And you're like, I was so nervous. I was looking up everything.
I know. I wasn't able to enjoy myself because I was looking at everyone.
So after this sighting, the police department and the FBI, they began to re-interview people connected to the case. And a surprising twist, Antoinette's younger sister, Whitney, who was 10 now, she claimed that she saw her sister get abducted that night.
Oh, abducted.
Mm-hmm. She claimed that during the early morning hours of April the 6th, there was a knock at the front door. And Antoinette got up to see who the man was, and he replied, "Uncle Joe." This prompted her to open the door, but then two men grabbed her sister and forced her into a brown van that was parked in front of the house.
Is that the same brown truck that the neighbors own?
Well, I don't know. I don't feel like they ever
Confirmed.
Yeah. When asked why didn't she share this information 5 years earlier, Whitney claimed that their mother was always crying and very upset, and she felt no one would believe her, and also that she would have got in trouble for being up.
She would have been in trouble for being up when everybody else was up at 3 a.m.
Right. Well, she said it was 6 o'clock. These little girls didn't get no sleep that night. You think about it. They was up till 3 o'clock. Then their mother got them up at 6 o'clock to go to Sunday school. Let me tell you something. Even my grown self would been cranky. And you talking about a 9-year-old, 7 and 5-year-old getting up that early?
I feel like you kind of have to weigh the consequences. You know, it's like your sister got abducted. I think the main priority is trying to find her. Mm-hmm. And then you can worry about maybe getting in trouble. But I really think that you might have been okay.
Yeah. So, Antoinette, she did have an Uncle Joe. He was married to Penny's sister. But after interviewing him, investigators learned that he had an alibi that night of her disappearance. That was so corroborated by a witness, he was not considered a suspect in her disappearance.
Oh, he just happened to have an alibi that day. I don't even remember what I did 2 hours ago. So it just seems so like weird. Such a coincidence.
Yeah. So in spite of this, the investigative theory was that they knew that Antoinette had an Uncle Joe and that they used that to make her open the door.
So Uncle Joe maybe sold her to 2 other men.
That's your theory, but I have one when you hear the rest of the story.
Okay.
Miss Penny spent many years dealing with addiction, and sometime that she would also land her in the hospital. She eventually passed away in 1999. But by this point, authorities had believed that she was part of it.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I was about to say, well, maybe that's why she didn't hear the door. Because she was under the influence.
They said that she actually failed a polygraph test.
Wait, what?
And they planned to re-interview her, but she died before that could happen. Yeah. Years later, Whitney would say in an interview that her memories of her sister is kind of vague right now. She blamed herself for not coming out and saying anything. Her and her other sister are estranged, and they had never spoke publicly about this case. Antoinette case has remained unsolved. The FBI closed their investigation in 2006. But I have some things to say a little bit. Right. So it's some notes that I took in a case that I watched where they talk about her missing. And I'm going to put it in the description so you guys can check it out. But I'm going to say some 3 points that I think is very, very important. I cannot pronounce his name correct. My wife is telling me I'm not rolling my letters right. So she's going to say it for me, guys. So please don't judge me in this. Please don't make fun of me. So Penny, she had a friend. His name was
Emiliano.
His nickname was
Emo.
Emo came over the residence a couple times, and he kind of made Antoinette sit in his lap while Penny left the room.
What? That's inappropriate.
And then also he brought her flowers on a couple occasions.
That is very inappropriate. It seems like they were grooming her.
Yes. And also there was reports of him giving her flowers. Like the police had it in a report that witness said he given her flowers 3 times. And also some flowers the night before she went missing.
At 9 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And he was how old? Did it say?
No, it doesn't say. So Sadie says that her mother, when she came home around midnight, she made her and Whitney go to bed. But she let Antoinette stay up and play cards. Sadie said this was kind of weird a little bit.
Exactly. I've been saying that.
You really did. So Sadie said after her mother put her to bed, made them go to bed, it was a knock on the door. And then not the infamous Uncle Joe knocked, but another man who was at the door asked Penny to let him in. Penny told the kids, just ignore him, and he will go away.
Wait, so Penny clearly was awake? She knew that people were knocking?
So, yes, the little girl, Sadie, she's older now, sorry. Sadie said that her mother heard the knock, and she told the girls not to open the door.
Okay, and then clearly they didn't listen. That was the first knock, the second knock?
Well, that doesn't say. According to the police, a man named Rogers told the police that he showed up around Penny's house at 3:30. So that's the kind of knock they're talking about. He said he knocked on the door, he knocked on the window, checking on Penny because they had an argument earlier that day.
So that's her boyfriend?
No, she had a boyfriend already in the house. So she actually had a boyfriend staying with her.
Why is everybody looking for this lady at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Right.
Stressed out.
So you know when I told you that Whitney said that she heard the knock and she went with her sister, and that's when she saw her sister get abducted.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sadie said that never happened. So Penny originally told the investigator that she woke up at 3 a.m. and saw Antoinette sleeping. And then she woke up back at 7 a.m. and Antoinette was gone. When the FBI investigated Penny in 1994, she mentioned hearing the knock. She said, I heard the knock and I informed Penny to get up and see who it was. Penny originally told investigators at 3 a.m. when she awoke, she saw Antoinette sleeping. And then when she woke up at 7 a.m., she didn't see her sleeping. So we all know that, right? But she said that she heard the knock that morning and she told her daughter to go answer the door.
Why would she do that?
And then she also said that she laid back down, but she kept getting back up. And then when she realized 30 minutes has passed and her daughter never came back, she went and see what happened.
Oh, no.
But
This was
you remember, she still didn't call the police until 11 a.m.
Yeah, why would you tell your daughter to go check the door at 3 a.m. and then just go back to sleep? Why would you let a grown man give her flowers?
Because she know about the flowers because she had to see it, you know?
I don't know. I feel like her mom set her up.
Sure, it's not even...
There's more.
Penny said the knock came around 30 minutes before. It was just getting light outside. But she estimated that the time between the knock was 3:30 to 4:30 a.m., meaning it would be impossible to her to see the light.
To see what light?
The sunset coming in, because she said, oh, when the knock happened, I saw the light, like the sunset coming in. You know, the light. But the police said, no, you couldn't have it because it's 3:30 a.m. and 4 o'clock. So,
yeah. Well, she's on drugs.
So her best friend, Ronald, he was the one who introduced Emo to Penny. According to Sadie, Emo was never at the house unless he was there with Ronald until that night the Antoinette disappears. So after that Antoinette went missing, Ronald and Emo never showed up again. So they wasn't friends no more. They never came around again. The girls never saw them again. Roger, Penny, and Sadie all confirmed that he knocked at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Roger was an important witness because according to Penny, the second knock came roughly around the same time. Roger reported he didn't see anything.
Yeah, he's going to try and cover her.
So at 6:30 a.m., it was a search party going around the day that Antoinette went missing because a dog went missing.
Jesus.
The boyfriend at the time, he asked the people that were searching for the dog, like, hey, did y'all see anything? Like, oh, no, we didn't see anything, you know?
Where was the boyfriend?
Oh, I think he was there. I don't know if he was really there because I never went into detail if he was there or not, but it seemed like he had to be there. That's another thing. They never says the boyfriend name. That kept that hush-hush. Also, guess who failed the test?
The boyfriend. Emo.
And who else?
Ronald.
Failed it bad. Miserably.
Yeah, they got her.
Also, it stated that Penny told Emo them that Antoinette, she was getting bad. That she did not know how to handle her anymore. That's what she told the police.
And so that's why you set up your daughter to get
She told the
kidnapped?
police, she like, hey, will I go to jail if I was involved in this case?
Oh my God. Really?
He also confirmed, so this she told the police. And the police detective said this. This in the link, y'all can go watch it. It's a very good case. Penny informed the police that she sold her daughter for drugs. But she also said, oh, I didn't know. Like, she kept telling police things, but then taking it back.
But I mean, wouldn't that count as a confession?
Yes. But, you know, when they were finna re-interview her again, she went, you know, she died.
Why would they need to re-interview her again? If basically she already told them everything that they needed.
But she died in 1999. But this interview was in 1994.
From what did she die?
She was addicted to drugs.
An overdose.
They never said that she overdosed, but they said that she was addicted to drugs. She was always in and out of the hospital. She said, she said that, oh, I sold her for drugs, but she couldn't remember who. She died. She did not know anything about her daughter missing. All of the FBI report turned over to the PD, and they did not include this interview. So this what happened. Penny told one of the detectives this, right? But it was never transferred to the case file that this interview happened. So like she basically kind of confessed that, hey, like I sold her from drugs. And then she also said that emo took her, but they couldn't confirm it because the case wasn't in the case file when like the new police took over it.
Policemen didn't do their job?
Yes, this is what she told the police. She said, what if I told you emo and I did this? Will we both go to jail?
Yes. I could answer that question.
Yeah, we all could answer that. So we don't know like emo and Ron last night. They kind of kept that hush hush. But she said they had came over and she told emo that her oldest daughter was giving her a hard time. It was becoming a problem. And she wanted a better life for her daughter. Emo told her that he would be the one person to take her over.
Did the authorities ever check Emo's house or?
No, they really didn't look into him that much.
Why?
So to this day, the case has been closed.
Due to what grounds?
They never said why the case been closed. That's another thing I should listen to. But they closed the investigation in 2006 because I feel like the police know what happened to her, but they can't find the body or anything like that. They know that the mother, Emo, and Ron had something to do with it.
But they never charged them.
No, well, the mom died.
But her daughter's still missing.
Mm-hmm.
So we just give up at this point.
Mm-hmm. He also told her that it's better for her not to know what happened to her daughter.
Who said that?
Emo.
So he knows.
Mm-hmm. No, when he was going to take her, he said, it's better for you not to know what's going to happen to her.
So they basically confessed.
Yeah.
But nobody was charged.
Yeah, so let's get into theories.
I think we all have the same
but we
one.
still have to have theories.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it.
So, theories. I feel like we all know what happened. But it's two things. Because she said, oh, I sold her for drugs. Or Emo took her. I personally think, because I feel like there's going to be a quick theories. I personally think she didn't sell her for drugs. I feel like they paid her to take internet.
Yeah, that's called selling.
Well, selling, not for drugs. Well, she probably did get drugs with it. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. But I feel like internet is probably not with us no more.
You think so? Because she tried to run away a couple times?
I feel like that case, well, we don't even know. What if that little girl said her name? And no offense now, I'm having struggle saying her name. So I feel like that's not a name that will be anywhere, you know? We were in a phone call in the beginning that they called and said that there was internet. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that phone call is probably true, but I think they probably killed her after that phone call.
No, because she was seen later in a restaurant, wasn't
But
she?
they never knew it was her or not. That's the problem. They couldn't pinpoint. But
they couldn't or they didn't want to. Because
I feel like the case got messed up a little bit, but they know who did it. They wanted to charge the mom. Before she died, they was going to charge her. They was going to interview her again because they found that case file. They found the report.
Like 5 years later?
Yeah, but it wasn't there. Like, if a detective, he knew that she did it.
So you just sit on it?
Yeah, basically he sat on it. Because after she kind of confessed to the crime, he like, oh, here, other people, take the case. I'm done with it. But he could have charged her right then, right there. Because she said it. She said, will we both go to jail if I said I know what happened to my daughter?
Yes.
And I feel like, sad thing to say, she probably not with us no more. Because I don't think he would really kept her around. Because that was interviewing them, taking polygraph tests.
I mean, they probably would have sold her to somebody else.
Oh, they could have sold her.
You know, given her up to somebody else. And then that next person, you know, did what they wanted with her.
When they like have them, they give them to parents or they kidnap the kid, they will have them for like a year or two. And they will sell them because they probably can get some money out of them. Yeah. Usually the kid would stay like in that habit or they would run away or they would become like women of the night.
Yeah.
It's just sad that we kind of know, like we know what happened to her. And I feel like her mother, like letting her other daughters go lay down and keeping her oldest daughters up is like, was it like a last moment with her?
The thing about it is, how is it okay for you to sell one child, but you have 2 others?
Right. If she was having a problem, did you ask the dad? And that's a problem thing. Where was the dad? Because if the mom was really like on drugs, the dad didn't see it because he later remarried. That like the new wife didn't want the kids around. You know, it's a lot of things that could have went down.
He probably didn't care.
That seemed to say because I really didn't see much of him. Like I see much of like the daughters coming out and speaking about their sister, but I feel like because they really don't talk publicly about her a lot, but I feel like they know what happened.
Yeah.
Because with the Alexis Patterson case and also the twins, their family members are out. They're like out, like getting the words. It's Facebook pages. It's all that. But this one, like the sister said that she did do this interview that you guys can look at. And she said a lot about her sister that's very important about the case. I just told like the bullet points that I think was very important about the case. You can get your theory from.
The only person that was out looking or even asking was the boyfriend.
Yeah. And where was he? Can we just get that to our head? Where was he through this whole time?
I don't know.
Because he got up and asked like the people that was looking for a dog, like, hey, did you see this little girl?
And then to me, it's like there's multiple people looking for his or knocking on his girlfriend's door at 3 a.m. in the morning.
And why did they go out together? Because I'm thinking like she hired a babysitter because it was going out. So she had to go out. I think the mom, she had to get a story right before she, called the police. I think that's what took her so long to call the police. I feel like she probably was sobering up, and I think she was getting her story right because she had to tell the kids, hey, don't say this. Hey, don't say it. Because they very young.
Right.
They were 7 and 5. So it wasn't hard for her to say, keep this a secret or don't say this.
Right.
Because we know what kind of mother she was because she sold her daughter. But we don't know if she was abusing them or anything like that.
Maybe that's why the youngest daughter was afraid to come out and say that she was up until 6 a.m. because
Oh my God, think about it. She said, I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
She probably saw it. She probably did see it happen. She probably like went behind her sister and saw it happen. And think about it. Her mom telling her, hey, y'all tell the police this. Tell this to police.
But why hasn't the sister came out and said who did it?
Well, she said that she saw 2 men at the door. So she said that they said Uncle Joe, and that's why Antoinette opened the door. So think about it. If Antoinette was in the bed with her mom and her sisters, right? And her mom was like, hey, go answer the door. And she got to the door, and like her family said that she was very dependable and very like mature for her age. So before, even though her mom told, she was like, oh, who is it? They probably like, oh, Uncle Joe. And she's like, oh, okay, Uncle Joe.
And the 2 men is Emo and Ronald.
Yeah.
I just want to know why that brown truck keeps being mentioned.
It probably was a brown truck there because the neighbors saw it.
But they was still there at 6 a.m.
I felt like, so Roger said it, not Roger, was it Roger? Yeah, Roger said that Ronald was a part of the emo guy.
Who's Roger?
So Roger's the first guy. He's the first guy that knocked at 3:30, 4:30. And the mom was like, hey, what if he knew what was going to go on? Because he said they got into an argument. What if he knew, hey, this was going to happen? He was trying to stop it. Mm-hmm. And that's why the mom didn't answer the door.
Oh, yeah.
Because he said he came at 3:30. Everybody said that they heard a knock at 3:30 to 4:30. And he said, oh, yes, that was me.
He was the first knock or the second?
Yes, he was the first knock. And then that's when the second knock came. And that's when she told her daughter, hey, go answer the door. Probably Roger was like trying to convince her because while he said they got into an argument, we never know what the argument was. What if the argument was him finding this out? He's like, hey, don't do that. This guy is creepy. Don't do that to your daughter. He probably was trying to save the situation, but he never came out and said anything. He probably was covering for his friend, or he didn't want to get in trouble either, because I'm thinking about little Wendy, and she said that she didn't want to get in trouble because she didn't want to tell the police what happened. Think about it. She's 5. And she probably said, oh, Mom, she probably told her mom what happened when her mom was looking around for her sister.
But why hasn't he said anything now if he did know?
Well, we don't even know their last name. It kept everything hush about like their last name, about anything. We don't even know if they're still alive or not. I don't know nothing about them because they didn't have their last name. They kept their last name private. I mean, somebody probably can look it up, go into more details, but I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
I think the mom, my theory is that she sold them. She sold her daughter to Emo, and probably Rondo was there.
Ronald.
Yeah, and I feel like Roger found out about it and he was trying to stop it. That's why they got to the argument. Or he probably like, hey, don't do that. He probably was doing something to stop the thing.
But it almost sounds like Emo wanted the girl for himself if he was buying her flowers and grooming her and
He was really
stuff like
grooming
that.
her.
Unless he was grooming her for her to be trafficked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Or for himself.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, why didn't the police go and search his home? And
Because they didn't know none of this. They didn't know this in the later on in the years. Because a year later, after she went missing, that's when they went back into the case. But then 5 years later, that's when Whitney told her story.
yeah,
So it's like, it's so much timeline, but I feel like the police had the evidence for them to close the case. They knew what happened to her. They were like, okay, this is a done deal. Like, we know everything that happened.
but nobody was charged.
No one was charged. I feel like cold case could probably pick it back up and like close it for real. So let's open the case back up and just close it because we kind of know what happened to. Well, we don't know what happened to her fully, but we know the people that are responsible for her case. Yeah.
The people involved.
Cause they're like, Mom, like you saw your daughter, point blank simple. You saw her. That's on you.
Right.
And shoot, probably the other girls were scared to do anything bad because they like for us to say that line. Because I never thought about talking until I talked to you just now. You said she won't get in trouble, but I'm like, oh, like why would she get in trouble for telling the truth? But then you think about like her mom probably like don't tell them nothing.
Yeah, because she has
Her
a
mother
story.
probably told them a story to tell the police because Sadie came back and said this didn't happen. This is what really happened.
Right.
So it's like their mother kind of hushed them up a lot. Just sad.
Very.
Your theory to end this?
I agree with you. I mean, I know the mom sold her. She was being groomed. Emo clearly had an eye for her. My only thing is, why didn't the police look into Emo later on? Why did it take them so long to figure all of this stuff out?
Right.
Where was the dad? Where was this? The boyfriend?
Right.
And like clearly, like the mom
She knew.
told the police, "Hey, what if I told you that I was involved?" They all failed the polygraph test. It's like they had so much information to go on and they just sat on it.
Right.
And like Antoinette made multiple attempts, allegedly, or we believe, to be rescued, and everybody failed her.
Correct.
And the worst part is her mom. So I'm wondering, like, did Antoinette finally find out, wow, my mom did this to me? So,
Well, you know what? Think about that 14, when they said that the girl was 14, that probably was her. He probably did sell her because they say she was kept with two unkept men.
yeah, so they didn't recognize the voice on the phone call.
Well, she did recognize the voice.
Or maybe she did. But, if I'm being investigated, if I was Emo and I was being investigated, I wouldn't have her under me. Like I would probably
Sell her or kill her.
yeah.
Probably he would. I feel like he sold her only because I feel like he want the money.
But Antoinette seems like a fighter. But, you get to a point where you're like,
Don't
say
fight.
she did find out, oh, like my mom did this to me. What's the point?
Correct.
What's the point? Like, if I am found, my mom did this to me.
Mm-hmm.
And what if now she knows that her mom passed?
She probably don't even know.
Or she probably doesn't know. But the thing about it is, people that are on drugs are more like mentally unstable, more abusive. I feel like that's all she's known is abuse.
Right. And then you have a father that's remarried. It is like you don't hear, like, I try to find information about him. Like, I know, like, his race and stuff, but I didn't find nothing really about him. Like, I never seen him, like, doing, like, an interview or stuff like that. If you guys did and you correct me, please. But your daughter went missing. You didn't do nothing. Do you think he had an idea it was the mom?
Yeah, I'm sure he did. I mean, because the first person that you blame is the other spouse that's in charge of your daughter. And I'm sure that, the police talked to him, and me even hearing, that the girls were up at 3 a.m. in the morning, that's not right.
Right.
And then hearing that, she sent her to go open the door.
Right.
And didn't even go with her.
Well, the first story that she told police that she didn't hear the door knock. So that's another thing we got to think about. She didn't hear the door knock.
I mean, all the evidence points to the mom. She told her.
She told it. She told the police what happened.
She basically said it herself. She, sold her for drugs or money, whatever the case may be. Emo was clearly fascinated with her, and he had some accomplices. She was hanging out with the wrong crowd.
So this is the case at Antoinette Cayedito.
Yeah.
And we drop a new episode every Friday. Just give us a 5-star rating, like, subscribe, and can't wait to see you guys next time.
Let us know your thoughts, and let us know if you want us to look into any other cases.
Yes, follow us on all our social medias. They'll be in the link. Everything about this case that I looked up will be also in the link. So guys, have a nice weekend. And we are signing out.